All right, so we're just having a conversation. It's just us two talking here.
What's up, my guy?
First question I'm gonna say is just introduce yourself.
Shiloh Todd, insurance professional now, real estate agent, real estate investor. Got a nice 6-year-old now. Just trying to make it.
I know that you lost your father to violence in Bermuda.
Yeah.
So just tell me a little bit about that without going into details of the incident.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's, I'll say, a good thing to happen young or a bad thing to happen young. I didn't have much memories of him, but yeah, it still hurt.
At what age, man, were you when you kind of understood what happened?
It was probably around 8, 9, family events, Father's Day events at school, and you look around and you gotta learn, Obviously I had, uncles and stuff, but it's like, you're not my dad. That's when I started to notice, like, where's my dad? And that's where the crashes came up, like, where he is. And, that's when I learned he was going. But then I'll really focus on the why is he going? And that's the question that really sticks to you, really. It's like the why. And you just never get that answer, really. Or you really don't accept that answer. But yeah, growing up, that's just the questions of why me, why God took him, why that man took him. If I was older, could I do something about it? Could I have prevented it? Anything I could have done? Why was he foolish enough to do something to leave? That's majority of the questions I kept asking myself growing up.
At what age did it really start to hurt and affect you and maybe change in behavior or different things that you may have seen in yourself?
It was multiple stages throughout my life. Like I said, 8, 9 is when I started feeling it, looking around your friends. And then I'll say beginning of middle school is when I was starting to get angry. So I started to really get in trouble in middle school, started being a bully, started getting in fights, in school suspension. At that moment I didn't care. I even, suicidal thoughts because I just wanted to be with him.
In middle school, you started fighting, you started getting into trouble.
Yeah.
What was the shift? And why did the shift happen? Because it happened.
Yeah.
When did it happen?
I'll say the shift happened around when I went high school, going to college. It was ironic because it's like a double-edged sword because it's like my family helped, but then they also were strengthening my hatred because it's like I said, my dad died when I was 3. So it's like I would hear, oh, you look like him, you talk like him, you walk like him, and share all the memories with me about him. And that would just fuel my hatred because it's like, I don't have these memories. But then, I got, I'll say, my second in school suspension at school. And the school called my dad's friend, Michael Opa Fitzy. Shout out to him. And he would visit me at lunch. And eventually, I started calming down. And it was one thing he said to me that I think helped the shift. And he said, if your dad was here, out far, just looking at you right now, watching you, would he be proud of what you're doing right now? And I think that's something, and I think that's where the shift came from.
Speak to the importance of having someone that you trusted to open up and talk to and to be honest with, and how important that was to helping you to heal.
It's very important to at least talk to someone. Not everybody's gonna understand your pain that you go through. That's your own self journey. But I was bubbling that in. I was holding that in. Hence why I was getting into fights a lot. You can't do this on your own. You need someone to be there for you when you're down and hurting. And you might not see it at first or even trust that person at first. But once you start talking and releasing that anger, it feels so much better. Even if you're shouting at that person, multiple times, I shout at my grandpa, punched him. He allowed me to punch him on his arm, just hugged me. Don't even have to say anything. But releasing that and just talking to someone or just someone that you trust, being there just to let you release that, which is amazing.
What did releasing that allow you to do for your life? And that if you hadn't released it, what do you think would have happened?
If I wouldn't have released that anger or energy I had, I don't know where I'll be. I'll probably be still fighting to this day, in trouble, jail, or maybe even dead. It's so important because when you release that negative energy, when you release the anger, when you somewhat release the hurt, you kind of have a clear picture of what you want to do. It's like you taking over your life again, and now you're living for yourself. When I started to feel a little better with Grandpa, I started talking about me and what I like to do and what I would like to do in my life. I would say for anyone, just talk to someone. It gets better. You take your life back and you live for you now.
And last question is, what made you show up here today to be vulnerable and share? And why is it important for you to be here to share this message?
I chose to speak with you guys and be vulnerable because there's a lot of silent battles that a lot of people did. I was very silent for a long time. Join me, my family's probably gonna find out now about this story. I chose to speak because there are a lot of people that are going through what I went through, and I want them to know that there's better. The grass is greener on the other side. That the past don't define you. What happened to your loved one don't define you. It hurts, but it gets better with the people you surround yourself with and the choices you make. I don't want more young people to go and do bad things. And I don't want the cycle to keep going where someone's hurt, they take someone out, and that person's hurt, and then the cycle keeps going. We need to stick together as Bermudians, and hopefully me speaking out now starts something.